Hi, everyone. Todd Rosenbluth of TMX VettaFi, and we're on the road to exchange. I'm here with Kaisa Stucke of Confluence Investment Management. Kaisa, how are you?
Good. Excited for exchange.
I'm excited that you're going to be there. Let's talk about exchange in a second, but we've got a interesting market. I want to just get your sense. You're a member of Confluence's asset allocation team. What's your outlook for what's going on in the equity markets?
Yeah, absolutely, Todd. For most of the past decade, simply owning the market was enough. But today, how you build the portfolio is becoming just as important as being invested. As you know, leadership is broadening, correlations are shifting, and advisors have more tools than ever to express allocation views. That's really how we're thinking about markets at Confluence. We're trying to step back from the daily noise and focus on what's ultimately driving the market returns: earnings, valuations, and economic cycles. The US equity market remains supported by resilient economic growth and solid corporate profitability. We've had a geopolitical shock. Markets are really good at discounting the ultimate end result. But the story for 2026 is really one of transition. So the concentrated performance in a narrow group of mega cap companies already started to broaden end of last year, broaden across sectors and geographies and market caps. That shift creates volatility, and obviously with the geopolitical shock, there's additional volatility. But volatility, that same volatility, also creates opportunity. So as I said, it's simply not enough to just own the market. It's owning the right exposures and managing risk within portfolios that will matter.
So I'd love to just talk about some of the other asset classes you think make sense within a portfolio for diversification purposes.
Sure, yeah. I love the diversification question, because diversification is starting to matter again. We're coming from an environment where yields were low and correlations were pretty high, but it's changed. So we think about diversification in two ways right now. First, balancing equity risk with other return drivers. So particularly select fixed income and real assets like gold. Both very, very interesting areas. Both have their own independent return drivers. But secondly, very importantly, the diversification within asset classes themselves also matters. So within equities, that includes looking internationally, where valuations in many markets remain more attractive relative to the US, and being open to rotation opportunities as economic cycles evolve. For advisors, the takeaway is that diversification today isn't just about adding another asset class. It's about combining exposures that respond differently to changing market environments.
So speaking of changing environments, active ETFs is an area that I know we're going to be focusing on at the Exchange conference. How do you think about active ETFs and fitting them in a diversified portfolio?
I'll start off by saying, our team here, we've been managing these portfolios for these ETF-based asset allocation portfolios for 25 years now. So we've really had a front row seat to the evolution of the ETF ecosystem. What started as a broad market beta has grown into an incredibly powerful portfolio construction toolkit. And I truly think we're still early in the innovation cycle. So today, to answer your question, we use ETFs very precisely. So for example, we here might use factor-based ETFs to tilt portfolios toward exposures like quality or dividend focus when we want to improve the resilience of an equity allocation. But honestly, one of the most exciting things about being in this space is that watching the pace of innovation continue to accelerate. And it keeps expanding the ways advisors can build thoughtful portfolios for their clients.
So you're going to be on stage at the Exchange conference on a session that we're calling From the Trenches, because you're running money, and we're going to have some other, or offering asset allocation strategies. You're going to be with some of your peers within the industry. What do you think an advisor should know about building a portfolio using ETFs today that's different than a couple of years ago?
Yeah, so I've alluded to at the couple of questions ago here, but the reality for advisors today is that broad beta alone may not be enough. We've seen a lot of shifts and transitions within the market. Portfolios need to be built with more intentional exposures. From the Trenches panel that I'm also on, we'll be talking about how ETF strategists are adapting, how model portfolios are being constructed to address stock bond correlations, capture factor opportunities, and move beyond simple market exposure. We'll also share what indicators we're watching and how those insights translate into actual portfolio decisions. The goal is really to give advisors practical ideas they can apply in their own portfolios, as well as following our models.
Well, I'm thankful that you're going to be there. You're also part of our advisor council for the Exchange conference, and I appreciate your participation and active involvement. If an advisor is listening to this and they haven't yet signed up, why should they be at Exchange?
Yeah, I really want everyone to know that Exchange is one of those conferences where you really feel the momentum of the ETF industry. It brings together the entire ecosystem: advisors, ETF issuers, strategists like myself, and researchers, amongst others. But we're all focused on the same question: how do we build better portfolios for clients? You get practical ideas, you hear different perspectives on markets, and you see how innovation in the ETF space continues to expand what advisors can do. It's the collaboration and the energy of the room that makes Exchange special.
Well, I'm so glad you're going to be there. I'm really excited for the conference. I know other people are too. Thanks for joining me, Kaisa.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Todd.
We're on the road to Exchange. It's coming up real soon. There's some other videos that can get you excited. I encourage you to check them out. Have a great day.